Previously, on Epic 7 Abridged, the definitely not Asundere Vildred killed Queen Diane and absorbed the first Archdemon's might, becoming Arbiter Vildred. Ras, Mercedes, and Archie are now in a race against Vildred to destroy the Archdemon's might held in Rengar before Vildred can absorb it and become even stronger. On the way there, Ras and Mercedes encounter a merchant named Guzma being attacked by monsters. Ras goes off to rescue him because he is the heir of the Covenant, hero of legend, protector of Orbis, tasked not just with protecting Orbis, but the people who occupy it. Oh, and Mercedes assists too. However, she is confused as to why Ras saved him when he wasn't even ordered to. Anyways, after being saved, Guzma bribes Arby with sweets, leading to them all traveling to Rengar together. So Rengar is a very different place from Ezra. Unlike Ezra that was ruled by a queen and had knights and churches and more knights, Rengar operates like every high school and anime ever, with the student council holding supreme power. So last episode I mentioned this class of people called heirs. Heirs are people that are granted immense magical powers by signing a magical contract with a guardian. So basically, magical girls in Madoka Magica. The guardian, Principal Karazhan, is not only responsible for protecting Rengar, but also appointing the student council president. Typically, the person he nominates is also the one he forms a contract with to become an heir. However, this timeline's nominee has rejected both positions, leaving Rengar heirless and student council presidentless. This throws two wrenches in Ras's plan. First, only the student council president can lower the barrier around Rengar's archdemon's might. Second, he gets arrested. The lack of leadership in Rengar has resulted in a state of disorder throughout the country, so the Public Security Council has been strictly monitoring borders, and Ras lost his ID. So Ras and co are escorted by the second lieutenant of the Public Security Council, Karin, to the interrogation chamber for attempting to illegally enter Rengar. Meanwhile, the upstanding law-abiding citizen Guzma is allowed in because he didn't lose his ID. Karin is interrogating Ras and he tells her, Ras Eclair, heir of the Covenant, hero of legend. Unfortunately, she doesn't believe him and sentences him to death by 500-page apology letter. While in jail, Ras meets Yuna, who also protests the unfairness of the Rengar justice system. For you see, Yuna too faces jail time for creating a giant robot that went on a rampage in the city and is currently missing. Yuna claims foul play was at hand, but when the Public Security Council says they can't do anything about it, Yuna says,
Fine. I'll do it myself.
And uses an to escape jail. Two members of the Public Security Council, Rekorus and Judith, chase after her and they task Rask and co. with helping bring Yuna back into custody in exchange for a reduced sentence. While the chase commences, Yuna reveals that she was the person selected by Principal Karazhan to become the student council president. However, she declined because she just wants to build robots. Yuna continues running and eventually escapes the Public Security Council. However, Ras and co. continue chasing her down. Ras asks Yuna to become the student council president so he can destroy the Archdemon's might and restore order to the world. She says no, and runs off to find her rampaging robot before it gets destroyed. Wanting to win some brownie points, Ras agrees to help Yuna find and stop her robot. The group eventually tracks down the robot and discovers that Yuna was right. Foul play was involved, with the party finding a dark magic stone inside the robot, which Mercedes reveals are used to summon and power the Acolytes. Determining that they are in more trouble than they anticipated, the party decides to go to the Public Security Council and tell them what's up. Ras asks Yuna where she even got the dark magic stone, and she reveals she bought all the parts to her robot from a merchant named Guzma. So Yuna gives the dark magic stone to the first lieutenant of the Public Security Council, Plum. However, while she's attempting to explain the situation, Karin shows up and thinks the two are trafficking dark magic stones, so she attacks. Fortunately, Ras is there, and despite being a red unit and Karin being a blue unit, he is able to once again win a fight he shouldn't have been able to. This finally calms Karin down enough to listen to reason, and Plum says he'll take the stone to the Public Security Council while Karin finds Guzma. However, Karin realizes she has no idea where Guzma is, so she heads to the Public Security Council to find his documents, which is conveniently the same place Plum is headed. So Karin follows Plum's. However, Plum goes down a sketchy path, which Karin notices doesn't lead to the Public Security Council. So Karin and the others decide to stealthily pursue him. Plum eventually meets up with Guzma and is like, "What in the world, dude? You lost one of the stones!" And that's all Karin needs to hear, jumping in to arrest them. However, Plume runs away with the stone, so as expected of this chapter, the entire group chases after him. Plume reveals that his evil plan is to use the dark magic stone to summon an acolyte and become the student council president. Anyways, Plume keeps running and makes it to the Sage Minaret, where the Archdemon's might is sealed. Ras pleads with him to not summon an acolyte, pointing out how dangerous it is. However, Plume says that it's been his lifelong dream to become the student council president. However, since his creation, he was cursed with one undeniable fact. Plume is an NPC. In a world filled with incredibly special people, Plume was gifted the curse of the ordinary, so he thinks summoning an acolyte is the only way for him to break free of this curse, and to be recognized and given the respect he feels he deserves is something he is willing to risk his life for. Suddenly, Guzma appears, because apparently everyone chased after Plume, leaving Guzma unattended. So during that really long chase scene, Guzma prepared everything for the acolyte summoning ritual. Realizing they're too late, Ras tells Yuna and Karin to evacuate the building, while he, Mercedes, and Arky go to confront the acolyte. Yuna starts blaming herself for all the stuff that's been going down, resulting in a flashback scene, giving us our first look at the Guardian Principal Karazhan. And, hold up. Allow me to do a quick recap of all the Guardians we know so far. Chromekuz, a dragon. Zeon, a mech. Arky, a lightning cat. And Karazhan, an edgy anime boy. Anyways, part of the reason Plume was so mad that Yuna was selected to become the student council president was because, you see, she's not from Rengar. She's not even from Orbis, as a matter of fact. Yuna actually is from a different world, hailing from a magical land called Korea. Karazhan Isekaid her here because he sensed it was her destiny to become an heir, and he is suffering from extensive wounds that can only be healed by forming a contract with an heir. However, Yuna refused because her experiences on Earth has resulted in her being unable to handle the expectations of those around her when she fails. So upon being isekai to Rengar, she decided that this lifetime, she'd live for herself, doing as she pleased. After lamenting about this, Karin gives her an inspirational speech, and Yuna knows what she has to do. She runs back into the building and forms a contract with the Guardian Karazhan, becoming an heir. Meanwhile, Plume and Guzma are able to complete the Acolyte summoning ritual, and have god-tier luck, because they summon Spectre Tenebria. Fortunately, starting on May 27th, you won't need to have god-tier luck to get S10A. Anyways, Plume is like, make me the student council president, and I'll give you the Archdemon's might. Tenebria agrees, so they go to find the student council, because although Karazhan nominates the student council president, the president must be sworn in by the rest of the student council. So they finally find the student council, and Tenebria is like, make Guzma and Plum the student council president. And they're like, no. So Tenebria says, we'll negotiate again after I destroy half the city. Ras finally shows up and is like, Tenebria, it's time to settle this. But then Tenebria is like, wahahahaha, it's too late. The destruction of Rengar has already begun. For you see, Guzma, following the orders of a mysterious individual referred to as the priest, placed dark magic stones throughout the city, allowing S10A to cause mass destruction throughout. So Ras and S10A start fighting, but unfortunately Ras only has one AoE move, so he can't hit S10A. Fortunately, Yuna, now an heir, and her guardian Karazhan show up to fight S10A, and since she has an AoE on her S1, things aren't looking good for Tenebria. Additionally, although S10A is destroying the city, Karazhan, following the sore loser Daichi's sore loser tendencies, is the guardian of time. So using his magical powers, he rewinds time, repairing all the damage done to the city. Sensing she can't win a prolonged fight, Tenebria retreats, leaving Guzma and Plum behind to get arrested. Ras is glad that this time things went well. The Archdemon's might has been kept out of Vildred's hands, and he now has a strong ally in Yuna. However, Karin still arrests him, because he hasn't finished writing his 500-page apology letter. And that covers it for episode 2 of Epic 7 Abridged. Stick around next time as we begin the furry arc.